Hey everybody, it's the Rothbardian here. I just wanted to do a very short video on IP, intellectual property as it relates to Bitcoin, and what I'm trying to tell you guys, what I'm trying to say is legitimate about intellectual property. And what I'm saying is legitimate is about intellectual property is not that you can own an idea, but that you can own a particular version of an idea, I guess is what I'm saying. So the one thing that Bitcoin allows you to do with digital items is it allows you to hash them. So if you look at this, just so you guys know, again, for any newcomers here, a hash of any digital item, it'll get you just a random string of 32 letters. We're using the SHA-256 hash. You'll get a random string of 32 letters and numbers. And so what I've done here on this picture is just we have two separate hashes, okay? And so the first hash starts with 887. The second hash starts with 126, okay? The first hash, the one that starts with 887, I got that by hashing just what's in the quotations there, my board game, okay? And so that's just supposed to represent some digital file. You can think of this like a music file, anything that you want. The reason why I chose my board game is I'm just referencing the board game that I showed you guys in my last video. I'm going to just show a picture of a few cards of this for my board game up right now. Again, this is going to be a real short video, but just imagine like that first hash represents some digital good that I've created. Now, I'm not saying that I have ownership of that idea or the information that creates that good. What I'm saying though is that when I create that good, if I hash that digital good that I have, it has a unique hash, and because there is a scarce hash, I have sort of an ownership relationship with that hash, because nobody else could have created that hash without creating what I created, okay? And since nobody else had created that hash before me, we know that my creation is an original creation, okay? And so this is important, again, not because it gives you any sort of ownership of the idea, but if you release your digital file now, like again, going back to my board game, and so we'll just look at this one picture of this character here. If I release this digital file here for this character, for this in my board game, and you buy this character set or whatever, when I release this digital file, like if I try to get somebody to help me work on it, which is what I was trying to show in my last video, or a couple videos ago. But anyways, if I release this digital file, I can release it in two separate ways, and I can change it just so that the digital file is basically the exact same, but it hashes to something different. And I'm showing this in this picture right here with the two hashes because, again, the top hash is the hash of just that text in the quotation marks, my board game. The bottom hash is the same text, except there's now a space before the M and my. And see how much it changes that hash? So if I release two versions of the same digital file, okay, because functionally these two texts, like the text of these two things, it's functionally the same. The idea that is contained in this text is exactly the same, but the hash is different, okay? So I don't own the idea, but when I hash something, I can claim ownership of a specific hash, okay? And this is specifically for the creator of a new hash, or of a new digital good that comes up with a new hash that has never been seen before, okay? Because by definition, this is a scarce thing. There's only one of them. Okay, so this is why this is, when Stephen Kinsella says intellectual property is invalid because it's non-scarce, he's sort of true, or he's sort of correct. However, you can claim ownership of a certain file that is associated with a certain hash. And again, you guys might be wondering, like, what's the point of claiming ownership of a certain hash of a file if you can get the same file? It'll just be slightly altered in some way that doesn't matter, so it'll have a different hash. Well, the reason why it matters is, like, let's say, going to an example of like Microsoft. Let's say you have you own an Xbox and you have an Xbox Live account. Microsoft could have hashes for their games, the up-to-date versions of their games, and then they could say, hey, if you guys want to try and customize our games, here's the customizable version. And so then they would have their official game with a certain hash, and then they would give to other people and say, hey, if you want to customize the game and distribute like your own customized version of the game, start with this file that starts with this hash. And then the reason why Microsoft would want to do that is because then every single change from then on, if you go from one base hash, you can trace, which file you're originally using. And so this is like this, that's important, like if Microsoft is trying to have some sort of subscription method, because then if they can have different hashes for the same file, like if they have hashes for the official account, then they can get subscriptions from those. And again, people will be willing to pay Microsoft subscriptions for the official account because obviously it's official and Microsoft is good at what they do. Okay, but again, I'm just saying with intellectual property and hashes, you do have intellectual property in your digital goods, and your intellectual property in those digital goods is in the hash that's associated with that digital good. And the way that you make other people, or you induce other people to use, or if they try to copy and distribute your file, the way that you induce them to use one with a different hash is you just provide it. So when you come out with a digital good, you just have to come out with more than one copy. Okay, so one copy has one hash, one copy has another hash, and so one is for, is your official one, that's for you yourself, your private use, and then the rest is for public use. And again, because this is it's a trivial thing to ask of people, and because you obviously do have, like, if that hash has never existed before, and if it's, if you are the original creator of this item, then that hash never has existed before, then there is there's property rights in that, because there's only one of those hashes, and one by definition is scarce. So I just wanted to sort of elucidate on this a little bit, and so I hope this helped. I know it was a little short. Sometimes that's better, sometimes it's not, but I'll have more videos coming out soon.